So parking brake first gear. Might have to move out a little at this Nissan truck on that side up there because well, yes. Yeah, I do need to move out. Good distance from that Volkswagen, but what's in front? There's just not a whole lot of space here. I think I could have waited further back. That would have been a better decision. Okay, on to the power. Getting a bit too optimistic with the power there. But I had the clutch down so it didn't like throw the car forwards, and we're all good. Keep it in third gear. Holding it just below 30, or just at 30 now. Eased off a little because that Volkswagen doing a manoeuvre of a van on the left.
Continue on Leek Road.
There is a speed limit change somewhere up here. Keeping at the speed limit until then we can speed up at the sign. Oh, that was a bit harsh. Not on my butt because this car has good suspension, which is precisely why I bought it into 4. Could have probably left that a little longer, but because of the slight hill, but I got away with it. No one's hanging right onto the back of my car, so after this corner we can go quicker, but we don't have to whoosh. Even if there was someone behind me, that would be okay. Some of these bumps, this actually fills out really well. The roads in this country are not great. There's worse, but you know, you do not want to be on here with 19-inch run flat wheels. I have 16s, and intentionally so. Despite how I'm sure this car interior still looks relatively modern. Looking at me for touching that line. Okay, looks like I should, because of the kind of blind crest, I should probably slow a little. Someone is, yeah, the other way. Couldn't see too well in the mirror. I think I can hold 5th gear for this. I don't think I'm going to be dropping too far down, but just below 40 miles per hour. But you know, it's holding enough speed to make it work. I know in the earlier gears, it doesn't, in the earlier like 2-3 gears, it does not like going very far. Like you have to not short shift, but you have to shift quite early. The car just prefers that. So again, I'm not quite going the limit of 50. Don't need to. Hopefully, despite my shot things, they were pretty good. This is better. Even though it didn't make a big deal about the stabilisation, it's actually probably the best part of the entire camera. Other than the 8K, which I do like. Yeah, just going just under 50, so they were trying to overtake. Now there is a Kia at the back of me, but it's all good. I don't believe they're being too reckless. They're in a small car anyway, I'm in a diesel boat. So they're actually likely to struggle on the hills a lot more than me. 160 horse isn't a lot, but with the torque it's easily enough to move this thing around. I mean, if we go back to the 70s, there's some American cars with massive V8s and they made less power than this. Okay, so this is a fairly tight corner, so I'll ease onto the brakes. Go down. My clutch is down, so I don't know what gear, fourth? No, that's second. I'll go with third. At least my clutch was down while I was doing all that messing around, so it's all good. Probably go in fifth, but I'm going to wait until this corner is done because I'm not going to be picking up speed here. If anything, I'm going to lose it. Okay, so now we shift up. I do try and drive as smoothly as I can. I mean, I don't want to go so slow and frustrating whatever's behind, but sometimes I'm like that. I drive slower rather than faster. So again, try and get the right amount of brake force. That was probably not quite enough braking as I would like. This is a little bit of a hill, so I probably don't want to go too slow or it just messes up your performance, especially if you're in a slightly higher gear. Although mind you, this is not much of a hill. Oh goodness. Yeah. I was going fairly close to the speed limit on a fairly tight road, and then that Audi just flies in front of me. It will be like that sometimes. I've actually seen worse, far worse. You see, I'm holding about 45 here, and it's a 50 road, a 60 road apparently. I don't always see the signs. I don't think I need to shift out of fifth, because I'm not going to go all the way up to 60 miles per hour. Well, that's why they're overtaking. But I thought I was going, at that point at least, a sufficient speed for the road. It has flattened out here quite a bit, so more speed is sort of natural, but it wasn't back then, even if the limit was 60. It was just a very tight, winding road in the grand scheme of things. Well, at least especially compared to what they have in America. They have some really, like just straight roads, straight high-speed roads. I'd argue they're actually less fun though. This is kind of the right mix of speed and handling to actually be a fun road to drive on, and it's not so narrow. Bit of brakes there, maybe a bit too much. I hate juddering the whole car. Well, not juddering it, but you know what I mean. It's like I hate just making the whole car change directional speed really quickly. That is perhaps good for performance. It's not good for ride comfort. That drain cover I could not really avoid. Not in a safe way, at least. I mean, there's probably ways to avoid it, but they wouldn't be safe. Kind of hilly here. There's someone with a bike, which is something to be aware of. If people go having those motorbikes, they can be kind of dangerous driving. Not to judge a whole group or anything, but you know, there's always that select portion of them who are just not all that safe as you would like. I might want to put the shade down above me, but you know, I'm on a fairly high-speed road. Ooh, what's that? It's some dirt and stuff. Gravel. Please don't make my paintwork. It's so slow, but it's on the other side of the road. I wonder if that means something up here. So I'm trying to stay a bit away from the edge. There's nothing coming, so either I can stay out of that nasty gravel stuff, which I didn't really see. I was just focusing on traffic and everything. Slow down a bit here. I can move out closer to the middle when there's absolutely nothing on the other side. Need to try and get a better road positioning when there is things on the other side. I do like this vehicle. I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera or if it's even still going, but there is actually this fixed centre steering wheel, so only the outside moves. It's actually useful if you have to change the volume or anything. Not that I would do that at these kinds of speeds. There is supposed to be adaptive volume as well. For 2014, this has quite a few features, and it didn't even cost me that much because cars go down in price. The other reason I bought this, besides having all this nice technology stuff on, without, in my opinion, without what's too much technology, then it's also got, it's like simple enough to enjoy it. Having a massive iPad on the dash, it's just not for me, and despite where the companies are going, it's not for many other people as well. That's just not what they want. But I guess ultimately there are different groups of people. I certainly fall into the old man camp, where I just want a nice, smooth, refined drive. I don't want all this technology per se. And this car is smooth. It's smooth, it's quiet, seats are good. Speed limit changes to 50. I'm already going just under 50, so I should be okay there. I'm actually going a bit slower because the hill is steep, and they've got these cars, they have to go faster up it so they keep the momentum. Yeah, if you have like a 300 horsepower turbo V6 or whatever's the popular engine option in America nowadays, you're not going to struggle. But in a world like this where 200 horsepower is still pretty good, you know, in this part of the world, should I say, where 200 horsepower is still considered pretty good, and I have 160 in what is a less of an ancient vehicle. So yes, you know, the thing is, I notice commonly with smaller cars, even the newer ones, they just don't have a whole lot of power, and they don't have a whole lot of torque. This car could easily be one of them in just general usability of the power. And it doesn't have massive power either, but it's just, when you've got one of those cars making maybe 80 horsepower, you're going to struggle with hills a bit more, even if it's light. As I say, this thing is a boat. It's something like 1,600 kilos. I don't know. The numbers I find, they always compete with each other for like who's the heaviest. Yeah, it seems like they're trying to make my Citroen look heavier. It varies because it's like 1550 to 1690 or whatever the weight you can find, somewhere around there. And I'm not even sure it's trim related. This is the Tourer Estate version, if you will, or wagon, I believe the American term is. So yeah, it is going to be a little heavier. We're on a 50 zone and I'm travelling at almost 50, but it feels safe, you know. It's one of those things, there's 60 areas of the road where it just doesn't feel safe to carry 60 miles per hour like we had back then. I don't know what that is. I think it's a bit of clothing, so it's, yeah, not something you want in your wheel wells. And if you're going at quite some speed, it can get up in there. Try and get the right angle here. I am being harsher on some of the inputs than I would like. I do like going nice and smooth and not angled steering too much. Okay, there's a light up sign telling me there's a corner, and it's also kind of blind, so I'll slow, which the sign on the road said. I think if I make it clear I'm slowing by just getting the brake lights on, probably want to clutch down into third or even fourth maybe, because we're going to go out of here. Right, so we're going to go in fourth. This is an uphill, so I'm going to want to give it some power, but not shift up to fifth. There we go. I think I did quite nicely there. I did look back just a short while ago, and that car was a lot closer on the downhill. I mean, maybe they saw I was hitting the brakes. We're not hitting them, but you know, on the brakes. So we're going to
In
fifth now.
3/4 of a mile, turn left
more down.
onto A523.
That was actually a much smoother shift into fifth than I was expecting. So it says 60 here. I can probably go with a bit more speed, but I will slow down as we get towards the end of this straight. Speed limit is changing to 40 though at some point, so I probably want to ease off. Yeah, I think I can see the sign. Get on the brakes rather lightly. And we will be at 40 in that zone. Shift down to 4. Slight downhill, I can just let the car roll a bit up to speed. This road is very nice. I did well for those drain covers. It wasn't like I was trying though, and I'm in a 40 zone, I should really slow down. I just picked up the speed on the downhill. So I was going a little quicker than I would have ideally liked, and this is going into a 30 zone. So we're going to go, again, ease onto the brakes, slow down into third gear.
Turn left onto A523.
So we're going to go, turn here, probably 1 second because I've slowed down quite a bit. So we're going to indicate in a moment just after I've passed this. No one's right behind me, so it's not like me going a bit slow. It's going to worry anyone.
Arriving at Dasta on the right.
Wait for this transit coming because I think after this I'll be good to go. Nice, I guess because it's a Monday there is some nice free spaces. Okay, I'll go in this one, should be easy to get out of. And it leaves a lot of space for, because I'm not right next to another car. So even if I slightly mess this up. Right, so the nose is long. And the nose is rather long, so I've got to put the parking brake on. It is in neutral now. It looks like it's in the space there. It's barely in the space on the left, but in the space. So a test pass, I guess you could say. And that would be basically the way.